Hello, welcome to the Pendulum, your number one authoritative political talk show on TV. I'm your host, Michael Angel. Today on the show, we are being joined by a chartered accountant, a philanthropist, an educationist, a businessman, a politician, and a House of Representatives candidate for Omagbitse Barrow Federal Constituency under the Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party, ANRP. Mr. Omagbitse Barrow, welcome to the Pendulum.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Why do you want to represent the people of Omagbitse Barrow Federal Constituency in the House of Reps?
Well, there are many ways to tell this story, but I think the most important thing to say is that I am fed up with sitting by the sidelines, watching the quality of leaders that go into politics in Nigeria and watching our country's fortunes decline, while just paying attention to my work, to my family, and to my business. I decided to get involved in politics to bring my experience, my talent, my resources, my networks, my innovation, my youth, my energy into politics and governance. I live in Abuja and I have lived here in Amak for the last 25 years, and therefore there is no better place to pitch my tent, and there's no better time than now to do so.
Do you have a campaign manifesto?
Oh yes, certainly.
What is your campaign manifesto anchored upon?
It's anchored upon four things, essentially.
Okay.
As a member of the National Assembly, we all have four responsibilities, and I target the role, R-O-L-E, of a legislator, and I will demonstrate to you how in each of those four places I will bring my expertise to bear in delivering the highest quality of governance and accountability to the people and representation to the people of Omagbitse Barrow and Nigeria. So let's start with R, representation. The cardinal thing I want to achieve is to set up for the first time in Nigeria's political history what we will call the Office of the Legislative Ombudsman. An ombudsman is someone who sits in the middle between the government and the people. We will set up in the 22 wards in Abuja Municipal and Buhari offices of the ombudsman that will be staffed and equipped with youthful people working inside with good quality technology, so that it will serve as a 24-hour contact center, that anyone who tramples on your rights wherever you live within Amak and Buhari, that you can go into that office in your ward, lay your complaints, they can work on that complaint, give you some form of restitutions, help you out, and fight whoever it is that is infringing on your rights. And where it passes their power, that they can delegate it upwards to me, so that I too can carry that fight on their behalf. Okay. In addition to representation, oversight. Another very important responsibility. Through those offices, we will set up a project called Promises Made, Promises Delivered. Okay. We will track every item on the budget that relates to specific wards and local governments within Amak and Buhari. Okay. For example, if there is a refurbishment project that's meant to happen in a school, let's say in Shere or in Kawu, we will be able to say what happened in Shere, what happened in Garki, has that school been refurbished? And if it hasn't, we will pursue and disturb the Wuru leaders who have chopped the money, because that is the problem with governance in our society. Related to that is legislation. L, we will focus on three key things: value orientation, strengthening our institutions, so in terms of electoral reforms and strengthening the police and judicial reforms, and even things about the configuration of Nigeria. I want to pass legislation in those areas, and of course, building our people. Very important, whether it is health, human infrastructure, health infrastructure, social security. These are areas that are important to me. But the final one, perhaps even most important in a society that pays a lot of lip service to grassroots politics and grassroots governance, is engaging the people at a local level, so that we can come up with an economic blueprint for every community in Abuja. We have a federal government budget. Some states have economic master plans. Do we have local government and ward level economic master plans that we can bring, that we can innovate with, that we can implement, that will bring economic empowerment to the people based on their local comparative advantage? You see, the problem is everybody talks about politics being grassroots, but is anybody paying attention really to the economic development of the grassroots? What we are doing is going around, unfortunately, evil politicians throwing money around, impoverishing the people, and not delivering the real dividends of democracy to them.
Okay. Now, what do you think are the basic problems of the people of Amak Buhari Federal Constituency?
The problems of the people of Amak and Buhari generically are not different from all the problems with Nigerians.
Okay.
It is that Nigeria has abundant resources. Okay. These resources are being pillaged and taken by people who, a rogue political class who are corrupt and they have bad leadership. But there are specific issues. There are issues about, for example, the indigenous people of these communities who have been resettled in different places of the city, who have not been well compensated. Many of them don't even have titles to the houses to which they have been transferred to. Even they do not have access to land to do what they love to do, which is to farm. There are specific indigenous issues, but generally speaking, the problems of the people of Amak and Buhari are similar to the problems of Nigerians everywhere. Zero social amenities, zero physical infrastructure, poor quality of leadership, zero governance, zero accountability. These are the issues that electing Omagbitse Barrow of the Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party as a member of the National Assembly will begin to address.
Now, in terms of your constituency projects,
yes,
what are you looking at?
Well, all of these things I have laid out.
Okay.
That is how we are going to intervene in the community. You see, building a one-off, what they call it, doing a one-off, what do you call this thing, borehole project here and there. You see, those are, for me, from where I sit and where I see things, those are cheap tricks.
You want to tackle the fundamentals?
The fundamentals. Because you see, if I organize an economic blueprint for a ward, they will be able to afford. It's not enough to give people a borehole. Then 2 months later, the pump spoils and they are unable to replace it. What is the point? Sustainability, a sustainable economic model for every ward in the FCT is what we should be pushing for. Not some of these.
Is that doable?
Oh, I have just described. Let me give you an example if you want to go into details very quickly. In a place like Kawu or Igu, which are some of the most far-flung, remote rural areas in Buhari Area Council, the mainstay of their economy is agriculture. Somebody needs to step in, like I will, and I intend to reorganize them and say, hey, we have people in Maitama and in Asokoro who are well off. They are bankers, they are top civil servants. They are looking for the opportunity to invest in agriculture, but they can't even find the opportunity. So here's what we will do. We will create an economic master plan that will do what? That will attract investors within FCT. So you see, it's not about looking for foreign investors. There are within FCT, there are people who have, and there are those who have not, isn't it? It is for an intelligent and innovative leader to organize the people so that they will see the opportunity, cross-sell the opportunity to both sides, and ensure that people have the resources they need for farming in a purely commercial way. And this has nothing to do with government funds. All you are doing is facilitating enterprise and providing an enabling framework for people who need resources and people who are ready to give their resources. That, Mike, isn't it possible as I have described? Because you asked me, is it possible? Do you now think it is possible?
I understand you. Yeah. But we have a very, very big problem in this climate, which is illiteracy.
Yes.
Which is vote buying, inducement, and what have you. Have you adequately sensitized the people, especially those at the grassroots?
Oh, sure.
On why you should be elected?
In fact, many times when you go out campaigning, just a few days ago, we were out on the streets in Lugbe. You meet people. I saw a lady who had a cross on her neck. I immediately knew she was a Christian like myself. She said to me, "Oh, guy, if you don't give me money, I will not vote for you." I said, "Get behind me, Satan."
Thank you.
And I said to her that I've said this to you because of the cross you are wearing. You are a Christian. You should know that what you are saying is wrong. You are a victim of impoverishment by a rogue political class, but you don't need to become a victim. You don't need to accept that victimology. You need to raise yourself from it. And I spoke to her with very strong words. And she said, after a few minutes, that, you know what, I will vote for you because you have said the truth. And I think that we have done that. We have gone around all the wards in Amak and Buhari, and we are still doing that all the time. We're even doing a football competition on kick vote buying out of Abuja, where we are gathering young people, kitting them. We're going to play football. We're going to talk to them and use football as a convening agent to get our youth in the most remote communities in Abuja to start to understand that vote buying is modern slavery.
The elections are days away from now.
Yes.
Do you think we can get past this menace of vote buying?
Yes, we can. We can when, if you look at Abuja, for example, the population of Buhari Area Council is 500 and something 100,000 people. The population of Amak is 2-point-something million. The majority of people who live in Amak are people who are not interested in vote buying. Here's the problem, Mike. They don't vote. So if we can get that group of people who have an apathy towards voting, who are so comfortable with the status quo, who like to complain on social media, if we can get them to actually come out and vote, here's what's going to happen. The narrative is going to change.
That's good. Now, what will you do differently if elected? You know, we've seen promises here and there,
yes.
Manifestos,
yes.
rallies,
yes.
what have you.
Yeah.
But after these guys are elected, you know, they run away from the people.
Correct.
And they see them.
Yes.
What are you going to do differently if elected?
Yeah, and that's the first thing I want to say is very quickly. Which guys? Those guys.
Yes,
not the
guys.
people that we know, the
Yes.
people who have been there,
Yes.
who have disappointed us.
Yes.
The difference between me and those people is very simple. One, we do not have godfathers. God is my father. I am in no need of a godfather. We do not have money bags. My campaign was 100% and is 100% crowd-funded. These things will ensure that nobody is going to close my mouth. Nobody is going to hold my hands at the back. I am going to have the independence to drive my manifesto, the independence to relate with the people, to engage with the people. So there is nothing for people to fear. Here's what I would say anyway. Go and find out about Omagbitse Barrow. Google him. Ask about his antecedents. Know the kind of person he is, where he's coming from, and the journey that he has taken prior to today. And here's what you will find out. That becoming a member of the National Assembly is not such a big deal. It's not like it's a do or die affair. I am determined to win, but not desperate. And that determination will take us there with our character, with our God-given integrity, and we will deliver to the people, and we will beat their expectations.
Before we go,
yes.
What's your final message to the people of Omagbitse Federal Constituency?
Well, my final message to the people is very simple. That elections are your rights, and it's a privilege. Do not waste it. Do not fall for cheap inducements. Talk to your people. Talk to your Megad. Talk to your Merua. Talk to the poorer, more vulnerable people around them. Sensitize people about the evil of vote buying. And let us all go out there, vote our consciences. Vote for youth, for innovation, for character. Vote the Computer Party, ANRP.
Thank you very much. Well, I've been speaking with Mr. Omagbitse Barrow of the ANRP on his House of Representatives aspiration. Thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you very much.
Let's look at the pendulum standpoint. Where the 2019 presidential elections is just 28 days away, have you collected your voter's card? Your vote is your power. Your vote is your right. Do not sell your votes. Vote wisely.